What is up, bitches? It's Steady Muffin here, back with a new video, and this is going to be part 2 of my epic showdown between two of my favourite first-person shoot-em-ups, Infinite Warfare versus Battlefield 1. Now, Infinite Warfare had its go. If you haven't already, go check out the video. So this is going to be Battlefield 1's chance to bite back and see if it can take the crown as my favourite first-person shoot-em-up, and see which one of these two games I think is actually the better game. So, in the background you can see a gameplay I captured. Me and a mate, Ashley, were playing a game of Conquest, in which I did pretty well, not gonna lie, pretty good. So we're gonna have a look at Battlefield 1 and see its good points and its bad points, basically. So first off, let's look at the graphics of Battlefield 1, and I don't think there's many people that would disagree with this when I say it is stunning. It is graphically beautiful. The maps look amazing, the backgrounds all look brilliant. It really does stand out as a visually stunning game, and to go hand in hand with that, the sound effects in the game are just as good. You know, the sounds of the bullets, the gunshots, especially the snipers, the way it the sound of it vibrates around the whole entire map when you shoot, it just sounds amazing, and the graphics go alongside with it. So the big plus for that, Battlefield 1 does that amazingly well. Talking of the maps, I think the maps, depending what game mode you're playing, the maps are equally as stunning. If you're playing Conquest, they are bigger maps, massive maps, huge. Compared to IW, you know, they're 6 times bigger or something along those lines. And you can get immersed in the map. The maps all look brilliant. They're well laid out. There's different parts of the map that cater for different classes. So if you're sniping, if you're a scout, then you've got plenty of high up places, hilltops and rocks and that to lay on overlooking the maps to snipe from. And then you've also got sections in the maps that are more suited for your assault rifle, for your running and gunning, and your really, you know, up close and personal parts of the map, which are good for handguns. But for me, the guns themselves are pretty well balanced. There's no real OP guns that I could really come across yet. Obviously I haven't used them all, but I'm getting there. I do prefer to snipe, so I've been through quite a few of the snipers. I settled on the Russian sniper, I think, in the end for the minute. Although I have just reached sniper level 10, so I might try out the one you get at level 10. But yeah, the gun so far, I don't really come across one that I continually die to, unlike other games and other guns, MV4. But yeah, I think guns wise, it's bounce, it's really good. And also, obviously, on the flip side, you've got the tanks and the aeroplanes and the horses that you can use in the games. Again, in Conquest, not in TDM. And they add just a different angle of gameplay to it. So you can get in a tank with a couple of guys on the guns, get in an aeroplane with another guy gunning. It just adds something to the game that IW really doesn't have, or Call of Duty in general really doesn't have. And I think it really does add a lot, just to be able to do that, get into a tank, get into an aeroplane, get on a horse in this game, and just run the map with a sword, swashbuckling your way through. But sniping for me is probably where Battlefield 1 really excels, and Call of Duty has fallen down on its face so many times when it comes to sniping. I don't consider the snipers in Call of Duty sniping. I think they just don't do it right. There's not really a way of doing it properly in Call of Duty, whereas in Battlefield you can snipe properly. So you've got bullet drop, which you have to take into account, although in Battlefield 1 it's not as bad as it was in Battlefield 4. But the whole feel of sniping just feels so much better, and it's so satisfying when you get that, you know, 300-400 meter kill or whatever it would be. It just feels so satisfying, and although it can be seen as camping, but it's what snipers actually do. They don't run around that much. Snipers find a place and snipe, funny enough. So I think definitely Battlefield 1 does that well. Battlefield obviously has battle packs, just like Call of Duty has supply drops, although in Battlefield you do not get OP weapons, you do not get any sort of weapon variants, you get weapon skins, which is perfectly fine by me. I've said before I wasn't a fan of it like in Call of Duty. You get just skins, and you can scrap your skins to buy more battle packs. You can get the, I don't know what it is, the ultimate battle pack, which is like 900 and something scraps, which you get that. You can get a puzzle piece for a new weapon, but it's just mainly melee weapons, nothing majorly overpowered. So what is the downsides to Battlefield 1 then? In my view, I think one of the main downsides is the loading times. Absolutely ridiculous loading times. Obviously the maps being so big and so detailed, it takes time to load up, but I think they've tried to improve it slightly, but you're still waiting a good, nearly 5 minutes probably to get into a game, and then when you want to come out of a game, when you want to quit, you're still waiting 4 or 5 minutes just to quit the game back to the main menu. Me and my mate have just decided that if we need to get out of the game, we just dashboard it and then go back into the game because it's a lot quicker. The other downside, I suppose you could say, is that the matches are quite long. When you want to play a game of Conquest, you do need to put aside around about half an hour for each game, depending on who's doing better, who's doing worse. Obviously you got your TDMs, but team deathmatch, you lose a bit of what Battlefield is if you play that mode. I think Conquest, it just goes on for so long, but it shows you all of Battlefield's good parts. Apart from that, I couldn't really think of much else that's wrong with Battlefield 1. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sit back down, have a cup of tea, think about what I think is the better game here, my verdict on which one is better and which one I prefer to play. I'll be right back. So the time has come to decide which one of these two first-person shoot-'em-ups is my favourite, which one I prefer to play, which one I consider to be the better game. It's been a tough decision, I've got to admit. I've taken into consideration all the pros and cons of both games that I've been through, and I've got to say it's with a heavy heart that I think the better game is a Battlefield 1. I think as an overall package, it's better, more thoughtfully laid out. I think how you can get immersed in a Conquest game is brilliant. Everything from the guns to the maps, it's so well laid out, and it's definitely, probably in my opinion, the better of the two games. But saying that, I've got to say my favourite probably is still Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I would probably choose to play that over Battlefield 1, and that reason mainly, you can drop into a game pretty quickly, it's fast paced, and it's Call of Duty, and I am a Call of Duty fanboy. I always have been and always probably will be, but Battlefield 1 really has turned my head a little bit and shown me a different side of first person shoot 'em ups compared to COD. But overall, both games are pretty damn good, and if people would give Infinite Warfare a bit more of a chance, I think they'd see it is a decent game. So that's my opinion though. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop a comment in the section below. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.